This is why Pilfered Goods kind of sucks. We just want card draw. We just need to hit one duo so we can win. Literally off of like one duo draw, we have lethal right now. All it takes is one duo, boys. Ah, fuck! No, man, why?
I'm like minorly dubious if I queue into Ezreal Twisted Fate and maybe possibly the Mirror. There's no other matchup that gives me any amount of pause. We're like, okay, maybe aggro a bit if I have a bad hand for it. Okay, this is a bad hand. This is a below average hand. Yuck. Yuck, 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 yuck. Yuck, 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 yuck. Yuck, yuck, yuck. I don't think I can thermo that, actually. It's sort of interesting. It looks tempting to, but the biggest thing is to just, like, realize... Okay, so there's a single reason why I'm not thermoing that. It's because we have Static Shock later, and the Static Shock needs to hit value, whereas the Thermo Beam is flexible. It's that easy. Like, if we didn't have Static Shock in hand, we're probably priced into thermo that on turn 1, because we don't have an answer for it. But I'm sort of just, like, denying my own card's value, otherwise. This is weird. If I want to Heimer on 5 with mana banked, I can't play a unit here if I assume I'm gonna need to shock. This hand doesn't give a lot of value to playing Heimer banked, though. I think I just play the duo. The thing is, the duo kind of makes his development a bit awkward, because if he plays a card, then I can threaten boosting the duo to +1 attack, which can be nice sometimes. Teemo's a really good draw here, I think. Teemo's a nut draw. So we can play this very slowly now. Oh, man. Oh, Christ. Oh, this is weird. So the play I'm thinking is just like Teemo the duo traded off Will the Basilisk. I think if I go to 5 and I'm not banked on mana, I think I just lose the game. I need to be banked so that my Heimer can start recontrolling the board. Which means I think I have to let this Basilisk just punch me. Like, if I don't have Will later, I kind of think I'll lose. So the question is clock. You know, look at how the last few games have gone. Think about this. It just comes entirely down to clock. Should we try to threaten him on a 2-turn clock? Should we try to threaten him on a 3-turn clock and just super slow play? Should we play defensive? Like, so if I will this, I'm basically saying I need to threaten him on a 2-turn clock. I think I have to threaten him on a 2-turn clock no matter what. That's going to be really hard to do given how behind we are on mana. If I block this, then I increase my odds of being able to survive 1 extra turn, but decrease my odds of killing him 2 turns from now. I think I will block with duo here. It's very close, but I think if I don't block with duo there, since I don't have banked mana, and I don't think I could afford to have banked mana there, I think I won't be able to survive 2 turns from now. I was supposed to open attack with Teemo, but whatever. So, I don't know. I'm not sure if my conclusion was correct. But, like, the most important thing is just making sure you're asking the right question. Like, maybe I messed up there, but as long as I'm thinking about it in the right way, I'll be able to learn from that, right? And that's really important. That's really, really important. I think we lost. This guy has a good hand. Doesn't seem winnable. So, let's think. What's our win condition here? Well, suddenly, do we have the ability to stop him from killing us in 2 turns? If I will this, his attack sends me down to a casual 5. But we've got Deny Floating. And with Deny Floating, plus the draw, it could buy us that additional turn. Alternatively, you could say that my objective is to try to threaten him on a 1-turn clock, and instead play aggressively. So the question is, and this is the fundamental question you always must ask yourself, am I more likely to kill him next turn, or more likely to stop him from killing me 2 turns from now? And the answer is, I'm more likely to stop him from killing me 2 turns from now. Or, yes. Like, he has 17 health. I can't kill him next turn. So, I have to will here. It's not likely, but it's more likely. It's still my best play. We can't tank all this damage. But yeah, we're in a very bad spot here. Our hand was below average. He had double rider. I don't think this game's winnable, but I mean, we'll try. We'll see what can happen at least. We've got deny, and our assassin might do something crazy, like ass pull another will. So, you know, this is actually quite fascinating. This is quite fascinating. So I've used 2 wills already, which makes my draw value out of my deck kind of completely shit. My draw value is horrendous. However, my draws don't necessarily need to be good here. We might need to keep deny open. I think we should open with Static Shock and see how it plays out. I think we will hit the Basilisk Rider because there's a chance we could be dealing 3 damage to it. It's actually not that hard. Like, we have several draws here. We could easily hit it, get excited. So again, because we're thinking in terms of clock, think about it. It's like, I could deal 1 to his face, but we're playing defensive. That's what I mean when I say slow play. When you're thinking of clock, you always have 2 speeds you're thinking about. Sometimes it's like 3, but usually it's like, do I try to kill them on turn 7 or do I try to kill them on turn 9? 9 is the slow play there. So slow playing means we're defensive. And the thing is, because this deck can muster up so much damage, as long as we survive turn 8, even if we play like really low value on attacks, we will kill him on turn 9. It's not that hard to threaten the kill on turn 9. So, we just play the other turret here. Now these turrets are going to threaten a ton of damage. Check this out. He can't block with Rider. Rider is his win condition. And his fearsomes aren't doing a whole lot either. So there is an argument to play this very aggressively and potentially force a block. Now we're losing to some interesting hands. But right now, we have a total of 8 damage that he has to let through. That puts him down to 9. His Teemo could threaten him a little bit, but reasonably won't very much. If we play the Shadow Assassin, we are potentially threatening a bit more, but I need him to feel forced into a block. So I'll take a bit of a risk here. I will use an aggressive discipline and specifically tap under deny. The risk is, if his hand is Transfusion Fervor or Fervor Fervor, then we just lost what theoretically could have been a winnable game. Now, the important thing is I'm making the call that I cannot beat either of those hands. I cannot beat Transfusion Deny also beats us, by the way, because he can just Transfusion next turn. I cannot beat Transfusion Deny, Transfusion Fervor, or Fervor Fervor. I can beat Deny Deny. I can beat Transfusion Transfusion. But I'm not being greedy. I'm making sure we can beat the hands we can beat. He's got Fervor here. I think that makes him good. I mean, we'll see. We'll play it out. But the most important thing here is that he feels forced to take a block. Because if I can generate a situation where on a bad hand, he's forced to block with his rider, then we can actually win. This was good. So, let's explain how that went. That was very, very good what happened. So, he had the hands, we're gonna lose. Let's go ahead and explain this out, why that was the correct play, because I know it looked bad because we weren't psychic and couldn't see his hand. That was not only the correct play in terms of like the probability of what his hand could be, it was the only play we could have made. Because you can only play around hands that you can beat. So imagine we exist in a universe where his hand is Transfusion Fervor. We keep Deny up, so let's go ahead and take that attack, okay? What's gonna happen? He'll never block with Basilisk Rider, and then his Basilisk Rider will kill us. He would need, basically, to be fully blanked out on the rest of his hands to not win there. We can't beat a Darius, we can't beat, like, he has a 4-card hand, we can't beat, like, Grenadier and stuff. So, if we basically try to play super defensively there and not force anything out of him, we will have a harder time winning, especially against that hand, right? Like, that's not a hand we can beat. Transfusion plus Fervor is not a hand we can beat, right? That's basically how to understand that. When we're ahead, we play assuming weak hands, because those are the hands we can beat. If we play for general value, then we will lose to weak hands and strong hands. If we're behind, or sorry, I said that wrong. That's behind. If we're ahead, then we play for strong hands, because if we're against the weak hand when we're behind, we are already winning anyway, right? And this is like the #1 fundamental of card games. Literally #1. You have to understand this before you understand anything.